Hey folks, so in this video, I'm going to be doing the first, I guess, real post-expansion launch 70 to 80 speedrun. And this is obviously going to be done on an account that has all the fancy stuff, so I already have leveled many characters. I have the full 25% XP bonus, I have the adventure mode unlocked for War Within, all that fun stuff. It's also Darkmoon Fair week, so I'm going to be getting the Darkmoon Fair buff. This obviously won't require the Darkmoon Fair buff, and as things go on, I'll talk about, like, hey, if you're missing some of these experience bonuses, what would you do instead? And, of course, if you are watching this video and you're looking to level up your very first character in the War Within, that is kind of a different thing. There is a completely separate first character leveling route, which I not only have multiple runs for, but also a guide, and that will be linked in the description. This is the first of the major test runs to figure out what the alt leveling route will be. And this is going to be an ongoing process because as expansions go on, Blizzard inevitably adds new things in patches that change the way that you level. It's going to be something that I'll have to update as the expansion continues. But right now, in launch patch 11.0, I want to make sure that I have at least a functional alt leveling guide with the current route. So a lot of the stuff that you're going to see me do here, maybe in like a year, we're no longer doing some of this stuff. We figure out that either A, it's maybe not as efficient as I thought it was, or something new gets added that's even more efficient because, A, it's impossible to thoroughly test every single bit of content in the game. A lot of this is just trial and error and practicing and calculating like what feels efficient, and then you string together a run and see if it works. So, with that said, for anybody who is unfamiliar with the way that I do some of these speedruns, I want to very quickly talk about this stuff, because you may notice I'm already on a character, I'm in the game, right? Well, like, how do you start a speedrun if you're already logged in? Where do you start the timer? And inherently with runs that kind of start at a midway point like this, there is no amazing, great starting spot, right? And in this case in particular, I actually did a speedrun a few months ago where I leveled this character up from scratch, from the like create character screen up until level 70, so you can watch that entire process. And you'll notice I have like a little bit of experience here. Why is that? Well, when I finished that run and I crafted an item which got me the last bit of experience to level 70, it overflows into 70. And you know, that experience is now here. I probably got a tiny bit of exploration XP while walking around with that character to get, like, thumbnail screenshots and stuff. Things like that happen, and it's inherently impossible to get a perfect, standardized run when you're leveling from a midpoint. In this case, starting from 70, which you obviously can't create a character at that level. I'm taking an existing character and just showcasing this bracket. So for fresh character speedruns, I tend to have a very standardized rule set that I adhere to strictly, and I make sure that I only do the stuff in that rule set, and I don't kind of shift things around, because I want to make sure everything is very easily comparable one-to-one if you're trying to level your own character. It is not 100% possible ever to do that if you're starting midway. So I'm going to do my best to make things realistic for anybody who is watching this and trying to follow it, but the main purpose of this is not to say it took me exactly this amount of time, right? Like, this isn't one of those things, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I did not expect a Horde player to walk in. Thankfully, I haven't started the timer yet. Well, and I have War Mode on, because you gotta level with War Mode on, but this is not something I've ever had happen before starting a speedrun. That's, interesting, to say the least. Worst case scenario, I just, you know, take a portal. Again, the timer is not started, but this is throwing a wrench in my introduction. Now it's going to be even longer. I should note, by the way, if you want to skip all this, there is going to be a timestamp for when the run actually starts. It shouldn't be that much longer, but you can't really account for shit like that happening after you press start recording. Anyways, so for runs like this, I'm not going for, like, world records, because obviously a lot of times I put, like, world record, because I have a lot of world records where I do try to compare my times consistently on a similar rule set. This isn't one of those. I'm going to still try to follow as many rules as possible that I always do, but this is more so to gauge the routing. This is going to give you a route, a path to follow. You're going to do these quests. You're going to do these delves, because, yes, delves are included in the routing, which is interesting. That's something that before the expansion started, I said wouldn't happen. And then after the expansion launched, Blizzard massively buffed delves. So now they're actually viable. So things like that, I will show you the proper path. There are also certain things that I'm not going to be doing, and I'll talk about that now. So right now, time walking is actually active. If I wanted to, I could queue for one. You may notice time walking dungeons give 93,000 experience. That's actually pretty good. The problem with time walking dungeons is they are very random. You can have really fast time walking dungeons, and you can have really slow time walking dungeons. And they also give terrible mob kill experience, which, while not something that I normally put a lot of value into, because it tends to not amount to much when running dungeons, it still amounts to something. And when you're getting like 1% of the mob kill experience in a time walking dungeon compared to a regular dungeon, that's like not great. And also the quests here do nothing, which is whatever. Compare this to a regular dungeon, which would be Random Dungeon War Within, and this is 62,000 experience, less than a time walking dungeon. So if you are just trying to dungeon spam, this is going to be a better option. Some people really vibe with dungeon spamming, they prefer that. It's not necessarily faster, but time walking is the way to go for that, and you'll see a lot of people recommend that. I'm not going to be doing that in this route, and I will note that the fastest way to do dungeons technically, and this isn't spamming per se, but if you really want to run some dungeons, grab the quests as you progress through the War Within zones. There's a handful of dungeon quests. I'm not going to touch upon them in this video because, again, I am not doing this, but you can get, for instance, the Arakara and City of Threads quests in the main hub in Ashkahet in this area. I don't think I can like zoom in at all, and obviously you can't see it on the map, but there's a guy right here, gives you 2 dungeon quests to just complete Arakara and City of Threads, and when you combine the quest experience from that with the random dungeon bonus, if you queue up for this, and you get Arakara, you run it, you walk out, turn in the quest, it is, I would actually say, more efficient than a time walking dungeon, because you're getting around this amount of experience, but also full mob kill XP. And you could potentially get gear upgrades, which is kind of nice. Time walking dungeons, relatively hit or miss with that. Some of the items are really poorly itemized, and the stats in it are crap. So, you know, there are good things about time walking. There are bad things about time walking. Some people love it, some people hate it. I'm not going to do it in this run, but you can. It's not bad if you just want a dungeon spam. The fastest way to level, as you will see, is a mix of questing and delves. And specifically for delves, we are doing one-time delves, because the actual delve XP, while there is some mob kill XP, there is a bit at the end for completion. It is very little. It is a fraction of what you get for dungeons. The main source of experience from delves comes from the quest that you pick up at the very start. Now, this is notable because this means that you only want to do each delve once. You do not want to spam delves. That is just never going to be a thing that will be efficient. Here's another problem, though. The delve variants that you get are random. They cycle every single day. And the delve variants actually play a pretty big role in terms of whether or not a delve is efficient. So for starters, there are 3 delves that I will just never recommend doing at all. One of them is Kriegval's Rest. This one is not an amazing delve in general. There are some variants that I would normally consider okay. Problem is, for whatever reason, right now, Kriegval's Rest, the quest that you get for it, just gives 30,000 less experience than all of the others, which just makes it not worth doing at all. I don't know why. I'm assuming it's a bug, but until... Oh, the server's shutting down. Okay. Well, I didn't know that. I already recorded this introduction, or I am already recording it, so what I'm just going to do is I'm going to finish doing my intro here, and, you know, we're going to do that, and I guess I'm doing editing. Fun. Love that. I usually try to record these in a single segment because that makes it a lot easier on the upload process, but apparently... Fuck me. I'm doing some editing today. So I'm going to finish recording this now, and then we're going to splice it all together, and I'll do the actual run in a few hours. Cool. So, the thing about the delve variants is they rotate each day. It's funny that I'm talking about this as I found out that the server's shutting down, which I guess, you know, I can show. I can move the timer. Server shut down in 15 minutes, which... was that on the launcher? Definitely wasn't on the launcher when I looked before. Okay, I guess it was last second. That's nice, Blizzard. I can't be surprised, though. They've been doing this a lot lately. Is what it is. But here's the issue. The reason I'm recording right now is because you know, the servers were going to, or the daily reset was going to happen in about an hour. And I checked every single delve variant and realized that today is a pretty good day for delve leveling. And that goes away in an hour. The server shut down in 15 minutes. So basically, I'm screwed. I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do later. I'll have to check the delve variants. But there are 3 rotations for every single delve. And the exception there is the Underkeep. Underkeep has 4 variants. And this one is particularly nasty because only one of the Underkeep variants is actually worth doing. Underkeep has 3 really bad variants, 1 good variant. Guess which one is active right now? The good variant. That's why I wanted to do it today. And it has a 1 in 4 chance of appearing. It can never appear 2 times in a row, so I'm probably not going to be able to do the Underkeep whenever I finally record the speedrun. Damn, I guess I should have recorded this earlier in the morning. Oh well. The nice thing is, right now, Takrathon Abyss doesn't have a great variant. It could roll the Abyss variant whenever I record this. Cool, maybe that would be nice. Same with Spiral Weave. Currently, the variant isn't worth running. There are some that are worth running. Nightfall Sanctum is just not very good. All 3 of them are relatively slow. It's not the worst, but I'm just not going to be including it for the purposes of a speedrun. You can if you want. Sinkhole has 1 okay variant, 1 really bad variant, and 1 really good variant. The really good variant is currently up, which means it is guaranteed to be down tomorrow. Again, fun! Nice thing about Skittering Breach is all 3 of the variants here are fantastic, so you will always do this delve. Mycomancer Cavern is banned, and all 3 variants for this one suck. Never do this. It's just such a shit delve. Waterworks has 2 different variants that are really good and 1 variant that is really bad. If the Kobold one is up, you will not do Waterworks. That is really slow. If the Stomping Gears, which is the one that's currently up and was going to be done during this recording, is up, that's good. And if the one where you rescue Earthen is up, that is also good. So I guess there's still a chance that the Earthen one is up whenever I record this tomorrow. And by tomorrow, I mean after the daily reset in an hour or so, in which case this would still be viable. Dread Pit has 2 variants that are pretty good, the Gems and the Skardin. And the Skardin one is up right now. That is the better of the 2, even though they're both like roughly comparable. So that kind of sucks not having that, but it could still roll the Gems. I will still do Dread Pit no matter what. This one you do for all 3 variants, because the final one where you rescue kobolds is not bad per se. It's considerably slower, but it is still faster than like some of the other delves. The one thing that could be nice is Fungal Folly only has 1 variant that I would consider to be worth doing. That is the one where you rescue the Earthen Miners. There's one where you have to pick up a crystal. That's the currently active one. That one's crap. There's another one where you have to do some, like, puzzles. That one's also crap. So 2 out of 3 of the Fungal Folly ones are a skip. One of them is fine. It's not amazing, but it's worth doing. And Earthcrawl Mines is interesting because the best variant is the one that you do as part of the campaign. And you can guarantee that, because when you do the campaign quest to run the delve with Bran for the first time, it will always have the variant where you like escort the Earthen Miners, and that is the fastest of the 3. So this one you will always do if you are doing it with the campaign quest, which you should be doing because the Isle of Dorn campaign up into this point and the next few quests after is relatively good. So it's generally speaking worth completing. So with that said, I'm going to need to effectively completely reroute all this stuff because I kind of just outlined the delves that I planned on doing during this run. And now I need to, after the daily reset, go and check all of that and figure out what I'm going to do, what I'm not going to do. Obviously, when I make a finalized guide for this, I will have a list of like, do these delves, don't do these delves, etc. But for the purposes of the speedrun, you just kind of need to adapt. You're never, theoretically, never going to have the perfect delve setup where every single delve is the perfect one. That's just statistically improbable. Today, most of them were good. Even the Talkrathon one that I had, while not the best option, was an okay option, to the point where I'm like, yeah, it's fine, I'll do it. So you just got to find a day where, if you want to do a speedrun like this, where all of them happen to be on solid options, good enough to run, and you take your chances. The chance that all of these delves happen to align the perfect one during a Darkman Fair week, even on all of these days, is just extremely unlikely. So I don't know if I'll be able to manage that. It kind of screws me over that they're doing a surprise server shutdown at the last second when I'm about to record this. But oh well, it is what it is. And another thing, I guess the final thing that I'll talk about before we end the introduction and we resume when I'm about to actually start the speedrun, is I will be doing war mode on, because duh, which is why I was scared that that guy ran in there. I am, as you can see, obviously playing Devastation, which I did say was what I used for the run before. I'm going to be picking Scale Commander when I get it at level 71, and it's worth noting that I guess, if you're unfamiliar with my speedruns at all, I obviously have a lot of fancy stuff here. I have Darkmoon Faire quest items. I will be turning these in. I have all these consumables. I will be using them. That's just par for the course. All my speedruns do that. And I have all of these crafted items here, leveling crafted items that are usable at level 71. They're enchanted, they're gemmed, fancy. And this is a really big power spike. So a lot of times, stuff like the one-time Darkmoon Faire quest items or crafting experience, which I'll touch upon that in a moment, you want to leave that until the end of the run where scaling is at its worst and it's just more efficient to use all of this stuff initially. There's two reasons why that's not always the case. I've talked about this before, but I routinely find myself having to re-explain it. Well, that is great in theory. One of the biggest issues is that it's very hard to perfectly gauge, this is the point when I have exactly enough crafting experience to go craft my items and hit level 80 exactly. A lot of times you're either going to overshoot and waste a lot of your potential experience, and crafted XP is really good. It's a really efficient way to level up, so you don't want to waste that. Or you're going to undershoot, and then you're sitting at the crafting table like, crap, now I have to run around and scramble to find this last bit of experience, and that's usually not very good. So, in certain cases, it's better to just front-load that, get it out of the way early on, that way you're guaranteed to get the full value out of all your crafted stuff, all your Darkmoon Faire quest items, and if the scaling is a little bit hard on you later on, it's not going to make or break your run. You're going to lose a very minor amount of time, and that is more effective than potentially wasting a lot of your experience that you could earn. And this is especially true because of stuff like this, where if you just effectively skip the first level, 70 to 71, you're able to immediately equip all of these really powerful items. And now, more so, in War Within, you immediately get your hero talents. And level 71 is a colossal power spike when it comes to hero talents, because you get the first main ability, which in some cases is really good, definitely the case with Scale Commander, and you get one of the talent nodes. So it's a really big power spike for one level. So skipping this initial level where you just kind of feel like yucky, very good. And then the way that I plan on sequencing this, I'm going to do something even more fancy. So for crafted experience, this expansion, I am using enchanting. And I will explain in the run specifically why I think enchanting is really good, but just to give you the basic overview, enchanting allows you to very easily cover all of the first crafts, but additionally, it can be crafted from anywhere. So you don't actually need to be sitting at the table crafting all of the stuff one by one in Dornegal. You can go wherever you want. And that includes the Dragon Isles to benefit from the Dream Surge, which you can't see on the map, but take my word for it, it's active in the Onaran Plains. And if the Dream Surge 50% XP buff is currently active, then that will give you an even further bonus when you're trying to get your crafting stuff done. Now, the problem is, if you're in the middle of a run and you're trying to, and this is more of a speedrun thing, obviously, if you're leveling casually, just like, you know, take a break, go make food, go make coffee, and then like keep checking back, hey, is the 50% buff up? Oh, it is, I'll do my crafting now. So anybody can benefit from this. But in a speedrun setting, it's very difficult for me to constantly keep track of when this is active, and then, oh, it happened to pop up in the middle of the run, let me go get it. And then because it's very rare, there's a chance that I will never encounter this in the span of a 2 to 3 hour run, which is my projected time, I should note. So it is much better for me to do this right at the start. Make sure that the 50% buff is active, go do my crafted XP, go do my Darkmoon Faire turn-ins, get to ballpark level 71 and a half, 71 and 3/4, and then just start the questing. And we stay in War Within zones the entire rest of the way, all the way up to 80, just makes the entire thing cleaner and guarantees that I get the full value out of these two fantastic sources of experience and get the bonus from all of this stuff. And because it's enchanting, you can literally just sit anywhere in the zone, press the craft button, and you get the bonus. So that is really nice. There's a few other minor things about enchanting that make it really good, which I will talk about again within the run, but I think that just about covers everything. Real quick, scroll over consumables, healing potion, mana oil, tempered pot. I don't know how many times, if at all, I will use these, but hey, speed potion, kind of cool. The new speed food, you can't use it until 75, so I'm going to be using fried bonefish until then, which gives a speed boost. And then for flask, alchemical chaos, and a few draconic augment runes. The other stuff is standard, gun shoes, goblin gliders. I don't think I'm going to use this. I had it left over in my bags from the first part of the speedrun. Just kept it in here, same with swim speed pots, but who knows, maybe. I just thought of this. Underwater delves. Actually, this theoretically should work in, like, the sinkhole. I think. And Takrathon. Oh, shit. Unplanned. Never considered that. This is left over from the first part of the speedrun. But that's actually kind of sick tech. I'll have to try it when we get there, because I will be doing both of those delves. And if it does work, then, yeah, that's kind of sweet. Thermal Anvil is for Darkmoon quest item stuff. You'll see when we get there. And then I also have a bunch of level 76 BOEs because they are roughly equivalent in item level to this stuff. And theoretically, I could buy like 1 billion BOEs and just constantly equip them as I level up, but that would get just extremely expensive very fast. This is already on the pricier end, but I figure for a demonstration run like this, it's worth it. So I'm only buying one set of BOEs, and I figure my 480 stuff from the pre-patch event should last me a good part of the early run, and then I want like a midpoint roughly, and I think 76 is a pretty solid midpoint where I can equip all this stuff and have it last me for the rest of the run. So that's all my prep work. That's all the stuff that I've set up. When the servers come back up, I'm going to have to, again, rescan all of the delves and figure out what I'm doing because I had a rough route planned out. I guess, see, this is how some of this might affect the routing. Because Fungal Folly was bad, my initial plan was I was going to start in the Ringing Deeps, do a bunch of the Ringing Deep stuff, do Waterworks, Dread Pit, because both of those are pretty good. And then once I finished those and a bunch of quests in Ringing Deeps, because there are some good quests here, I was going to head to Hollowfall. I was going to do some of the intro quests in Hollowfall and follow the campaign a little bit until I got here. Do Skittering Breach, because that one's always good. That I will definitely still do. Follow the campaign a little bit over here, and then I would pop over, do Sinkhole, because it's close by. And again, this one, some of the variants are good. If I get the Leviathan Manipulator one tomorrow, that's going to really suck, because that one is awful. But I would have done Sinkhole, then I would have continued the campaign a little bit. This is pretty good. This stuff over here I generally like doing, and I wouldn't have done any of the other delves. And then probably right before the daily reset, I was planning on using my wormhole generator to teleport to Ashkahet, do the Underkeep real quick because that one had the good variant, and then after the daily reset ticked over, then I would check Takrathon and see, hey, is it the really good setup? I would head back to Isle of Dorn, finish up in Isle of Dorn with the potentially good Fungal Folly one. But that plan is ruined, so I might be doing a completely different route based on whatever delves are active tomorrow. So I guess we'll see. And future Haraldin in 2 hours will pick up with you at the next part of this recording. All right, it has been 24 hours, and we're ready to go at this again. In fact, as I say that, I'm in such a rush, and I feel like this is just like I have one operating state, and that is like go, 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 go. Rush, 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 rush. Whenever I'm doing these speedruns, that is. It's just, it gets very hectic, and I need to like make sure that everything is done perfectly. I'm just adjusting my timer. We're doing this in real time. Screw it. I don't want to have to like start and stop the recording again. I'll edit it all in post. But yeah, there's probably a few other things that I could talk about before we begin, but at the time of recording, it is again early in the morning, like I said, around 24 hours later. And let me just double check. Is there any surprise maintenance? Well, according to the Blizzard launcher, no. So unless they screw me again with Saturday maintenance, which that would be crazy, I think I'm good. And I have a limited amount of time. Now, I should note real quick that the reason... Holy shit. Okay, the Mage Quarter is under attack again. I swear to God, if this time when I start recording, another horde barrels through that portal and tries to murder me, I am going to scream. But I am starting at this point because when I finished this Evoker's run, I did not initially think that I was going to continue it. I thought, hey, I'm just going to head to Dornegal and just park this character there in case I need to use it for something. And then it turns out I'm doing the speedrun a month later. Wasn't something I thought about. So I've done the first 2 introduction quests, which takes like about 45 seconds to a minute. The way that I'm going to do this is, while normally I could do Darkwind Faire later on to get slightly more efficient experience, I am opting to do it at the very start. We're going to go straight there, and instead of using the top hats that I already have banked up, we're just going to get the carousel buff again. I figure that'll maybe lose me like a minute and a half in terms of travel time, which should account for any time that I am not including on the timer, which accounts for like also half of this experience bar. In effect, anything that I have done before actually normally starting this run should be accounted for. We should be fine. Also, before actually starting the run, I'm going to rebuff, because obviously if this were a real speed run, I would still have my buffs rolling from the last time that I ended the run. This stuff requires level 71, so I won't be able to do it, but I would have Bonefish and Elgari Mana Oil, and then I would have like my Evoker class buff going. Stuff like that. Most of it, like I said, I can't even use until a little bit later, but we're going to do whatever we can, and then we're going to have all of this stuff, right? So yeah, that should be everything. I have all the enchanting stuff here. I do have Thermal Anvil in my bars, yeah, because I will be using that, because I still have Blacksmithing, because I did unlearn and then relearn Blacksmithing, but I used Blacksmithing. It doesn't matter if it's Khazil-Gar or not. Obviously, you can say I learned it in Dornegal, but the important thing is that I had this profession in the previous run, therefore I'm keeping it in here and doing the Darkwind Faire quest, yada yada yada. We're trying to simulate a slight continuation. Never going to be perfect, but this is about the best you can do. Okay, I think that covers just about everything. Evoker class buff, I have War Mode, and there's a very particular reason why we kind of need to go, and hopefully I don't screw the timing. We're just going to start the timer, and we are going to go, 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 go. So we are heading to Dalaran in Northrend, because this is the fastest way to make it to the Darkwind Faire consistently from Stormwind. So we're just going to do this, drop down, take the portal. It's going to teleport us somewhere. And we wait. I think it takes me to, yeah, Elwyn Forest. Second charge of hover. Go over here. And then I'm going to use gun shoes. We're going to jump over this log. Over here, I'm going to use a goblin glider. And here. And again, I have the top hats left over from the previous run. The reason why... Ooh! I meant to cancel gun shoes, not glider. Thankfully, I'm an evoker, and I have wings! So, there's my phone going off. Forgot to mute my phone, so while I sit on the carousel, I'm gonna mute my phone! And, you know, there's always something that you forget to do. Alright, mute that. 45 minutes, so we're gonna ramp up this buff. Gonna pick up all of the Darkwind Faire quest items. And there we go. Got all that stuff. Now that I have my buff, I'm gonna go turn in all this stuff. Okay, cool, 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 cool. And then I guess I can use... I'm too low level to use that. Alright. We're going to go over here. We're going to pick up the cooking quest. I could mount up, but at this point, especially with, like, Evoker hopping, there's not really much of a reason to do that. We're just going to do the cooking quest real quick, because why not? And there we go, turn in. Now this one I will mount up, because there's a little bit more running. Gotta do this fast, or I'm going to really miss out. I'm gonna talk to Sage first. Gives me a 6% damage buff. Fun little Darkwind Faire thingy. Jump over here, Thermal Anvil. Do this. We're gonna make the horseshoes. 2, 3, 4... And then we're going to apply the horseshoes. Alright. That's done. Dalaran Hearth. So that's close to level 71, but we're not quite there yet. Dalaran Hearth just obviously being an easier way to get around. Technically, I don't know where my Hearthstone is set to. I think it's actually set to Dornegal, but I shouldn't... Yeah, it is set to Dornegal. Again, I technically shouldn't have it set there, so I'm not going to use it until I actually make it to Dornegal and would have realistically set it there. Alright, we're going to head over here. And now I'm just going to take the portal to Dornegal. And as I mentioned, we're going to be doing some crafting. Zephyr for a slight move speed buff. I have right now 10 minutes on the thing that I'm doing, roughly. Yeah, about 10 minutes. On the hour, things get messy. Okay, we're going to do this. I'm going to go to Professions. I'm going to abandon Blacksmithing. Head down here, we're going to pick up Enchanting. Enchanting is the profession to use for profession leveling this expansion. Okay, I'm going to get this. I'm going to do Glimmering Haste, put this on a Vellum, enchant. And then I'm going to do Gleaming Shatter, and we're just going to sit here and wait. And I'm going to let this stack up to... it needs to be 22 skill points, is the exact amount that I want. There's a very particular reason I'm doing it this way, and normally I would be explaining as I go. Don't worry, it will all be explained. This may seem really inefficient, right? Like, wow, you're not even getting first craft bonuses, because if you aren't aware with profession stuff, the reason we do profession leveling is because you get first craft bonuses whenever you craft something for the first time. Notably, Gleaming Shatter does not actually count for that. You do not get that benefit. Right. Does this go... It might not actually go all the way... Oh, no, it does go to 22. Okay. I was wondering. And it can be a little bit finicky. And it might be like, you're wasting time. Why are you spending all this time doing these crafts? Obviously, it's a little bit RNG. Okay, there we go. 22. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. Okay, we're going to do this. Rune Bismuth Rod. And bam. Now we're 25 skill points. We're going to pick this up. We're going to turn this in. Boom. We got 3 knowledge points. And, alright, there's no new recipes that I can learn, right? There are. Aha, good thing I double-checked. 2 more new recipes that I can learn. Okay, now we are moving. We're going in here to the main profession place. We're going to pick up this quest. We're going to talk to this guy. We're going to talk to you again. We're going to pick up the Enchanter's Satchel. Gonna do this, break that open, talk to you. We're going to buy that. Get the knowledge points. And we are moving again. Alright. Let me double check my bags. Yep, I have everything that I need. Wonderful. I'm going to be a little bit good with conserving my vigor. We're going to head back to Stormwind. Where are we going? Whoa! I'm bouncing all over the place. First few minutes of the War Within speedrun, I've spent barely any of my time in the War Within. Trust me, there's a good reason for this. Alright, we are going to head over here. We're going to the Dragon Isles. Last expansion. Why am I here? Ooh, fancy. Cool. I know I've already explained this in the intro, right? But there are, yeah, you know, just trying to make it more exciting. Alright, we're going to do this. We're going to do this, this, and we're just going to fly. So right before I started the speedrun, I waited for that 30%. I said 50% at the start. It used to be 50%. I forgot that they actually nerfed it. It's a 30% bonus in the Onaran Plains. But it doesn't matter. It's, you know, the same thing. You can see here, experience gains increased by 30%. So now, real quick, I'm going to learn this recipe. I'm going to head over here, go to Enchanting, click this. We're going to sort by first craft bonuses just to make this a little bit simpler. And then we're going to go through and do all this stuff. Silken Avoidance. So that's a good experience, right? Glimmering Mastery. Doesn't really matter what order I do all these crafts in. I just need to make sure I get all of them done. And I'm getting a lot of bonus experience by doing all this stuff. Alright, we're going to do that. We're going to do that. Then we're going to go into specializations, do this. Yep. Kept misclicking there. Put 5 points there. Learn sub. Then apply knowledge. Whoa! Suddenly we have a ton of new recipes. And that is why this works out so well. So there's 2 key reasons why Enchanting is the best profession for first craft bonuses in the War Within. First off, in Dragonflight, it was only 15 crafts that you had available to you. In the War Within, it's 30 crafts. That means that there's a lot more that you need to get, and what you'll find is that with a lot of professions, getting to 30 first crafts is really tough. You're going to very quickly hit that wall where everything is suddenly incredibly expensive to craft. And if you're, this is admittedly not on the cheap end, there is a good, there's a good amount of material cost that goes into this stuff. It's a little pricey, but relatively speaking, all of these first crafts are fairly cheap, and you get a ton of them on one profession. Now, that alone is good. There are like a handful of other professions that have a good amount of cheap first crafts. It's not just this. However, the important thing here is that because enchanting does not require a workbench, you can do it in the Onaran Plains, or, well, wherever the Dream Surge Zone is. So, you're not limited to just going to the workbench, doing all your crafts, and then, fucking off to wherever. You learn all the recipes with just a few clicks in the city, get that stuff online, and then you can just head straight here, and you're good to go. Alright. Now, I am going to use this. Technically, I didn't set my Hearthstone. Oh well, Like I said, I intentionally wasted a few minutes at the start so that you'll cut me a little bit of slack here. Obviously, working within the boundaries of what I can do. It is what it is. It's fine. I also, that buff would have gone away in 4 minutes, so I had to move fast. Now, normally when you would do those 2 intro quests I mentioned, you would get taken right here, and then you would select your zone. So that's what we're going to go do next. We're going to go to Isle of Dorn, and then we're just going to pick all this stuff up. Just grab these breadcrumb quests. I'm going to grab Ashkahet just in case, right? Just in case, but I'm not actually going to do Ashkahet. Ashkahet is not a fantastic zone. One thing that I probably discussed when I did the Evoker run previously, but using Soar is actually... I lost a little bit of speed there because we were going through the loading screen. Using Soar is generally more effective than regular dragon riding, because they both have about the same cast to start, but Soar gives you a bit of lift initially off the ground, and that is 1 vigor that you're not spending on the lift up. Now, quickly before I do anything here, I'm going to get all of my buffs rolling, so just that. I think it's literally just that, right? I didn't get my Augment Rune set. Hero Talents, I need to do that. Scale Commander, we're going to do Bombardment. I know that this is run at high level. I don't think that for leveling it's going to be quite as effective. Personal preference, sue me. I'll have to clear my bags at some point, but now we're really gonna quickly equip all this stuff, because that will be... I can only equip 1 item in the Algari Diamond category. There we go. Yeah, I forgot because I technically had a diamond in that already. Gonna do that. Gonna do that, and then again... oh, right, there's 1 more. Okay, and then the other stuff is level 76. I don't need to worry about that right now. And, okay, we're going. I think that is everything. That was a lot of damage. Okay. Yeah, holy shit. Look, so this is why, like I said, a lot of people think it's the very first few levels where your scaling is insane. As, a test run, effectively a test run for this test speedrun, I boosted a shaman, because I had, a leftover boost, and I did, just with boosted gear, a fresh shaman run, and went through here, and, I was able to kill this stuff, but it took me, a few globals with every single mob. And here with this Evoker, everything's just kind of dying. And a lot of that has to do with the gear, because the boosted shaman was... yeah, a good 40 item levels below this character. At the same level I should add, because I, wanted to simulate it. Right, I want to do that. Eternity Surge, pretty good. I should note, by the way, for people who maybe aren't familiar with my channel, this is the only run of mine that you've really watched. I do not normally play Evoker. So I'm not, completely clueless when it comes to Devoker. I did just do the 10 to 70 run earlier, and I had played it once or twice in Dragonflight, but it's not something that I main, and it's not something that I have extensive muscle memory on. I'm not doing this, again, because I want to get, a super fast time, a world record time, as I, do for a lot of my other runs. A lot of those runs that I do are with classes that I'm very comfortable with. I usually use Windwalker Monk or Guardian Druid, which are both specs that I have played extensively over the years. Evoker is not one of those. So there are going to be some times where I hit the wrong key because I'm not used to, like, my keybinds perfectly, and there's going to be some times where, like, you know, maybe my rotation isn't 100% flawless, but I'd like to think I know enough about how the spec plays to get by, right? Hopefully I'm not going to be completely dog shit. Okay, we're gonna do that. This is probably a lust angle, honestly. And I'm not gonna need to use my cooldowns for a little while. So, Eternity Surge. This... I actually probably... Yeah, I should have used Tip the Scales on Fire Breath to get more of the front-loaded damage. Okay, there we go. I needed to hit him one more time just to finish the quest. And... oh. Doesn't matter, but we got a nice little epic upgrade there. Fancy. By the way, you don't need to run through these. I'm just doing this because it'll conserve my vigor, so I can, like, spam my dragon riding abilities and not have it, you know, really count against me at all. Alright, we're gonna do that. Big one on the big Nerubians every time. Snipe those. Big Nerubian. That. I need to finish that guy off. Okay. There we go. And then I can do that instantly in the roleplay. Do that. Skip cutscene. Whew. I should note that normally I like to yap a little bit more while I'm doing speedruns, and I'm sure there will be time throughout this run to do some yapping. But I've done many yap-filled speedruns over the last few months. This is like the first... I don't want to call it a serious speedrun, because like I said, I'm not using Guardian Druid, I'm not using, like, Windwalker, but it is still a serious enough speedrun that I plan on using as a reference for my initial version of the guide, so I want to make sure that it's done well. So for some of these sections, I'm trying to make sure that I'm doing it a little bit optimized, because there's just a lot of, like, a lot of quests that you need to do properly, and it's just a lot of little things that you need to remember, like talk to the profession trainer, or talk to the guy and then click, where's the profession trainer? You have to fly over here, land, do the flight master thing, and talk to you, do that. Then I have to go down to the inn, and normally I would set my Hearthstone here. It's already set here, so I'll just, here, do this. Set it again, even though that's already where it was, just for simplicity's sake. And then we're going to do Soar. One of the nice things about Soar, like I said, it gives you that kind of free lift, but that way I can do little bunny hops like that without actually wasting any of my vigor. Only problem is, I did not mean to fat finger my potion. Oh well. That technically meant that it was still on cooldown, but we're fine. We have myself Zephyr here. Speak to him. Speak to him. And we're going to get to a section of the run fairly soon where I am just blasting mobs and delves, and that's mindless enough that, like, I'll be able to talk about a few different things. And that's the classic yap part of the speedrun, where we're just kind of cruising through on semi-autopilot, and I'm just talking about, you know, random nonsense. Because, well, I haven't uploaded a video on my channel in, like, over a month now. And even then, it's been fairly scarce. I have been posting on my second channel, but not quite as much. So we're going to land here, we're going to pick up these quests. And you might be wondering why I'm picking up the Delver's Call quests. Because if you know how the Delve stuff works, you might know that the Delver's Call quests are now available inside the Delve when you first go there. There's one exception to that, and that is the campaign version of... what's it called? The campaign version of Earthcrawl Mines, when you do it with, like, Brand for the first time. And while you actually do get credit for that, when it's done in the campaign version for that Delver's Call quest, it seems that it's like a separate instance, technically, that it puts you into, and Blizzard forgot to add the, like, automatic Delver's Call quest to the campaign version of the Earthcrawl Mines instance. So if you just go in there normally, you won't be able to pick up that quest, so you do need to go over there and grab it. which works out quite well because I actually was doing that in the speedrun previously, just because picking up these quests is relatively good, because these are some really easy wanted quests. Just two really quick run in, blast some mobs, and move on with your life type quests. Love those. Those are really nice. And then that other one is turned in over there, the Burrow Breaker. So I will just swing by at some point and get that handed. Alright. Skip the roleplay. And then we're going to go into the Earthcrawl Mines. So, Earthcrawl Mines, one of the nice things about this is it's one of the only, like, guaranteed delves in the run, because, as I said, you're always going to do this with Bran, and that way you're kind of killing two birds with one stone, right? You're getting all of the benefits of the actual delve, but you're also getting the campaign quest, which does, on its own, give some experience. Now I'm going to go in here on Tier 2. I know a lot of times I've told people that Tier 1 is ideal, because people are like, hey, do I want to do this? Why is it telling me to get the Shaman buff? It's telling me to give Bran, my weak aura is saying he needs the Shaman buff. Unfortunately for Bran, I'm not a Shaman, so he's going to have to make do. I'm not sure why it's doing that. I did just do a test run with my Shaman. I guess that somehow broke it. I don't know. That is very strange. Okay. But, what's it called? This is technically the fastest variant of Earthcrawl Mines. Now, Earthcrawl Mines is kind of an interesting one because this variant is not amazing. It's not like, oh, I have to just use the grappling hook to, yeah, okay. Goes forward. This is not an amazing delve variant. Like, some of the other ones are really good. Okay. Do disintegrate. But at the very least, this one is mostly killing mobs, because there's not a ton of mob interaction, or, like, item interaction that you need to do. A lot of it is this stuff. But these mobs die relatively quickly, and there's only a few of them. And then the last section, while it's, like, framed as a roleplay thing, it is entirely based on how quickly you can kill mobs. So if you just kind of gun it down the hallway and kill stuff, it doesn't really matter. We're gonna drop pyres here. There we go, that's off cooldown. Yeah, I should stop looting mobs here. It's second nature. Whenever I start doing a speedrun, I have to kind of break that muscle memory of always looting mobs. Heal myself. Evoker healing is weird, because there's a lot of classes that have, like, a spammable heal. You don't really get that with Evoker. You have some big, juicy heals, like Verdant Embrace and Emerald Blossom, which are good, and that's actually in some ways better. Like, one of the best things about Monk for leveling is the instant cast, like, really juicy Vivify. You press one button and you get a big, chunky heal. That's lovely. Renewal for Druids is similarly quite good, but you don't get it until very deep into the tree, so it's not very relevant most of the time. Got to dodge, Bran says, as the mob is like 50 meters away from me. I'm gonna just do that. And then this is what I mean. We're just continuing down the hallway. So I'm going to deep breath all the way down here. And I'm going to do this. We're just gonna kill mobs. Bran isn't showing up on my details, but you can see that his damage contribution is not actually super high. I don't know how Blizzard managed to mess up Bran so badly, but it's no secret to anybody who's, like, done delves once or twice that Bran is, like, functionally worthless. And the craziest thing is, I don't know if you got to see it briefly, but, oh, it's something, I missed, like, one mob back there. Yeah. Okay. Unlucky. Thought I got all of them. That's fine. But let me show you real quick. No. That's not the button I meant to press. My Bran is level 58. So, Bran is fucking garbage. I have probably a higher level Bran. Well, actually, I know for a fact that I have either a higher level Bran than anybody watching, at least if you're watching it right when this video comes out, because this is also the cap. You might be thinking, wait, isn't the maximum level that Bran can reach a level 60? And if you think that, you would, in theory, be correct. It's supposed to be level 60. That's what it's advertised as. I don't know why Source of... Oh, I can't apply Source of Magic to myself. Didn't know that? Unlucky. I know I'm really low health here, but it's easier to do that. And then we can just... I think it's right after... Oh, no, I can already leave right now, I think. Yeah, it's already completed. Okay. Combat roll. Oh, no, but for the quest, you need to loot the treasure. Okay, good thing I double-checked. The campaign quest requires me to do that. And then, because I actually never selected a combat roll for Bran, I don't know if that's going to fuck the quest, so can I just do this now? Yes, and then that's fine. Yeah, I forgot that the actual campaign quest is a little bit stingy with, like, exactly what you do. Okay. And then I can turn that quest in later. We're not going to do that immediately. We're going to get around to it. Oh my god. I hate trees. Okay. I don't know why that's working. Okay. I'm doing this because there is a breadcrumb quest right after that will give me something nice. Also, there's a quest right here. Should be. Yeah. And then... talk to Berta. Which one is Berta? Is it in here? No. Ah. And see, here's the thing. I'll be honest. I've done the campaign a good amount of times by now. There are still things like this where I don't remember exactly which quest is which in some of these populated zones. Which is, again, why... yeah, that house I went into is the end point of the ones that I'm about to pick up here. Okay, that's the one that I wanted. I'm actually going to use Gunshoes here. It's a relatively good spot for it. We're going to do this. Do this. Talk to you. Effectively, what I'm doing here, in case you're unfamiliar, is I'm turning on Walk. I need to cancel her. Normally I have a canceler in macro, but forgot to set that up. It's kind of impossible to remember everything. What? I turned that off. I don't know why it turned off briefly and then snapped back on. Alright, then the last stuff I need is in here. The Love of Gems is turned in there. Yeah. A lot of good side quests in Isle of Dorn. This may seem like relatively slow, right? I'm going around talking to a bunch of people. The thing is, what you're seeing there is I am effectively doing the, like, intro quest for 3 different side quest chains at once. I'm, like, picking up all of them. And one of them overlaps the campaign right here, which is why it's really good. Okay, there we go. Oh my god, there's so many mobs that I lagged out when I tried to loot it. Perfect. Is that? Yeah, that's another player. Should be fine. Just gonna get glittering ore. Like so. Grab this since I'm literally directly on top of it. I want one more ore pile, which I can get right around the entrance to the mines. So I'm just going to do this. Alright. And now normally you would just go back and that's the end of that section of the campaign. But right inside these mines, there's another set of side quests, the ones that we picked up earlier. So we're just going to head in here and do that because might as well. We're going to get to a straight point and then deep breath. There's the mob. That's... Okay, yeah, Evoker Burst is fucking crazy. The only thing about Evoker that makes me think it's maybe not, like, one of the strongest possible leveling specs is, well, it looks like, hey, my survivability is pretty good. My health bar is moving. And the reality is, if you can see your health bar moving when you're leveling, you are not invincible. There are specs where, like, Guardian Druid, you just can't die. You can tank a million mobs, and if you're pressing your buttons correctly, that spec just will not fall over. It is incredible how sturdy they are. And Evoker is not that, so while I have really good gear on this character, if I was like a tad under-geared, you'd really start to see the downside of Evoker, which is that they are relatively squishy. They're tanky enough, and they have like good enough defensives and self-healing that, with like solid crafted gear like I have here, 528, which is relatively cheap in the auction house. I should note, I would recommend that everybody get that while leveling. I know that I tend to do some really fancy stuff in my speedruns and get like a lot of exorbitantly expensive items. That is not one of those. Each one of those is like 1,000 gold in the auction house, which, considering you can equip it at level 71, which is super early, and they make your leveling journey a lot easier and just eliminates a bunch of slots that you need to worry about, I would say just go for it. Just use those items. You will not regret it. Just going to send CDs because after this, I'm not going to have to fight anything for a little bit. All right. Don't donk my head. Perfect. Okay. And... okay, I'm not going to do too many more quests beyond this. Right, it's this one. The one good thing about this is while there is some annoying roleplay at the end of it, there, while the roleplay is going on, I can go ahead and just turn this stuff in. So I got to do that at some point anyway. And then... go ahead and turn in this stuff down here. I think, yeah, this is the building. Right. Okay. Cover's a really weird ability to use, because you need, like... You kind of need to hit a straightaway at a very specific spot. What's that again? Or placed in forage. Oh, that's... That mob I'm supposed to interact with in the hut. But I'm just going to do this. And get this... minor. I feel like that's actually slowing me down. I wonder if the Zephyr speed buff is overriding my other speed buffs. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. We're gonna get that. Skip cutscene. Pick up that. And then it's gonna tell me to go to the proscenium. That place up there. I'm not gonna do that just yet. Alright, I need to do that. Take a quick sip of coffee while I do this quest. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, wow, 30 minutes in, we're already halfway through the run. But obviously, it doesn't work exactly like that. It's, we've gotten a lot of the, like, big sources of experience kind of front-loaded here. So, while I am technically halfway through the leveling process, the first level is usually the fastest. A lot of people think, like, it gets exponentially higher. That's not necessarily the case. It slows down a little tiny bit. But the way that, like, classic levels work, where things always get, like, exponentially more, that's not really necessarily the case. It's nowhere near that extreme. But, like, 79 to 80 will take a little bit longer than, what's it called? Yeah, there we go. I'm just going to wait a second on that. It'll take a little tiny bit longer than, what words am I looking for? Brain, work for me, please. I'm actually not going to do this quest right now. It's not a big deal, specifically because I don't know. Maybe I could if I really wanted to. That is one of the toughest toughest subzones that you can fight in Isle of Dorn. There are some pretty nasty mobs there, and Fungal Folly is right around the corner. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do one big pull in this open area, because this is really easy. And, oh my god, I hit fucking an exploding mushroom. Just gonna blow all my cooldowns, make sure these mobs die. Fucking hell, everything keeps dying before I can actually disintegrate it. Alright, cool. Got that done, and let's head over there. Talk to you. They're gonna send me to go into the house, but we're just gonna do Fungal Folly while I'm out here. And you may remember that in the introduction to this video, I said that I wasn't actually going to be doing Fungal Folly because the variants in here are bad. However, that was yesterday, and the one good Fungal Folly variant is the one that is active today when I did the speedrun. Now, I will say, unfortunately, like I mentioned before, I initially had planned to do this the other day. The really good Talkrathon one isn't up. All Talkrathon setups are at least doable. It is one of the ones that you will always want to do. But unfortunately now Underkeep is undoable because it's, the setup is really bad. There's only one good Underkeep setup. That one was yesterday. It can never be the same thing 2 days in a row. So it is now the one with the 3 abominations that are running around the place, and that is really slow. We do not want to do that. So that means that I can't do Underkeep. There's still a bad variant in Spiral Weave, so I'm not going to be doing that one either. Unfortunate. And there we go. I'm gonna just heal myself real quick. What else? I think, oh yeah, Sinkhole has the worst possible variant. So there's actually a lot of delves that I really can't do today. Thankfully, one of the 2 good variants for Dread Pit is up, and also I mentioned that there was a variant in, what's it called, Waterworks, that if that one's active, you just can't do it. I mean, you can, but it's really slow, so for a speedrun, I would have skipped it. Thankfully, that one is not actually up. It's the other good Waterworks one. So it could be a heck of a lot worse. There are potentially a lot of delve combinations today that would have just effectively bricked my ability to do a run. And while I could have waited until Saturday, because it is technically Saturday at the time of recording, it is like early... Let me make sure I get this right. That mob bounced, so I didn't quite get the thing I wanted. Just gonna do that. Sure, that works. I need to stop looting. I need to break that habit. But yeah, there's a lot of combinations that could have been bad, and while I could have waited for tomorrow, there's no guarantee that tomorrow it won't be even worse, because, like I said, you have no way of knowing. It could just end up being the worst variant of each one. And while I might now... It's unlikely that the Underkeep one would be back up. I might get the really good Talkrathon one, but I might not, and this one's at least passable. And I may still just not get a great Sinkhole variant, so there's no guarantee that that improves at all. So overall, it just ends up, I'm like in an awkward position where I have to just accept that while it may not be as good as yesterday, it's good enough, and I just gotta roll with it. So that's what I'm doing. We're rolling with it. And it's, I'm now not doing Underkeep, and I'm not doing Sinkhole, but I am doing Fungal Folly. So effectively, the net result of the changes... Oh, shit. That Sporbit running over to me is a little bit annoying. Yeah, I get credit, and because I don't need to wait on the campaign credit, I can just leave immediately. There's no advantage. You don't get experience from, like, looting the chests. So we're just going to immediately peace out there. And that's Fungal Folly done. And effectively what I'm trying to do here is do a bunch of side quests until I get to 76, because then at level 76 I can... Well, I get all of these BOEs, and obviously I get, like, more talents and stuff. And that way, I'm effectively at my max power level for that subzone. And that subzone right there in the south of Isle of Dorn, it's good. You definitely want to do it. But it is the only time that I have ever died during one of my recent leveling runs. And I've died there, like, multiple times, actually. Because every single time I go back there, I'm like, okay, this time, I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to die to it again. And then I fucking die to it again. And I'm just like, okay. You know... Southern Isle of Dorn subzone got hand, basically. It constantly catches me unaware. Yeah, I haven't died to it on, like, Guardian Druid. That's probably the only spec that I think I can reliably just, as I said, they're unkillable. But even on a Windwalker Monk, which is relatively tanky, I still died to the Southern Isle of Dorn side quest hub. And Evoker is not Windwalker. So I'm not going to be super aggressive still. I'm going to make sure I'm not being dumb. There we go. Yeah, I think this should be fine, though. Yeah, that'll turn it friendly. Then I just need to get the Stone Wards. Moment I'm out of combat. Oh, I'm stuck in combat because I hit it. I'm gonna do that. But that way, other than, like, doing the Isle of Dorn side quest hub immediately at level 71 when I get my BOEs, which... That would be impractical, because obviously we skipped kind of the first few levels, and then I'm not going to just beeline right to that side quest hub and ignore the general routing. But this is like a very, very minuscule detour. I'm doing the side quest hubs maybe like one out of order from what would technically be the most efficient, and I'm losing, if anything, 15 seconds, 30 seconds of travel time. So doing that to guarantee that I don't eat shit and die, I would say is a good trade-off, personally. Then we need to kill Rotbark. Rotbark. I saw him. I passed by him. Yeah, there we go. He's all the way on the other side. I'm gonna do this. A Dragon Rage. Eternity Surge. Nice. And that gives me... Yep, that completes the bonus objective, which is another reason why we like doing that. 2 birds, 1 stone. Isle of Dorn has so many, like, little bonus objectives and generally efficient side quests. Like, that is not necessarily the fastest side quest hub ever, but it's right next to Fungal Folly, which, if you're gonna do, makes sense to do that. And now, because I'm not going to be, what's it called? Doing Kriegval's Rest, I'm just gonna go back here, turn this stuff in. And... I know I hit level 76, but I'm going to do this part of the campaign, and then grab this. We are going to do this campaign segment. Grab the Cinder Brew, and then I'm trying to think of what's a natural point at which I can refresh my food buff. Because I've now got new stuff that I could theoretically eat. Are my bags already that full? No, we're fine. Yeah. There's one that you start off right next to. But I didn't waste any vigor, because Soar gives you that initial lift. Check in with Illyria. Do that. Yeah, so Soar is actually fantastic for this type of bunny hopping. I'm gonna try to do... Nice, yeah. I wasn't sure if the verticality would fuck that up, but that was fine. I'm definitely in combat with that, so I'll need to kill it, even if it's gray. Alright. Get the last burrow, and then I'll get the last tiny bit of Nerubians I need at this burrow. I shouldn't need to do any combat. I'm gonna... Yeah, no, that's too far away. Perfect. And then blow this up. Soar. faceplant a wall because I'm bad at the game. Alright. Okay. There's like a climbing world quest there, but I'm not going to do that. There's a side quest hub there. Yeah, okay, here's what I'll do. Because the next part of the campaign is in Dornegal, here's the detour. Normally, you know, you would kind of do all of that in one perpetual thing. This is effectively the time loss right here. The time that I need to fly back down to the beach, whereas normally I would have done all that stuff and then flown out. But again, I am at maximum strength right now. Full power. I also need to reapply Algari Mana Oil because I swapped my weapon. And here we go. These mobs are fucking brutal. Let's hope that I don't die. We're gonna do all this. Gonna just use deep breath. Alright. I do need to loot these guys. Sure I don't stand in the AoE. If I recall correctly, that mud splat hits like a truck. That was one of the things that was really screwing me. I've tried this before. The big guys are also really nasty. They have tons of health. Dragon Rage here, that's really good. You can already see, look at my health. Oh my god, look at my health. It's that water blast too. Hits like a truck. Okay, we got that done. Just gonna hit a health pot. And I need a handful more pearls. So we're just going to kill one or two of these mobs. Shattering Star. Deep breath. Last pearl? Last pearl. Holy. Yeah, even then, I hope you see what I mean, right? And I pulled fairly conservatively, and I still got absolutely fucking slaughtered by those guys. Their auto attacks hit hard, their casts hit, like, ridiculously hard. It is some of the scariest stuff you can find in any leveling zone. You do not want to underestimate those mobs. Okay. Yeah, now the named mobs are not super difficult, but I also, again, I don't want to underestimate them, because you can still get clapped by them if you're not careful. Nice. Can't remember if I had to loot them or not. That guy. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do Shattering Star. I want to kick that. Just gonna... There we go. And then... Gurgle Gurgle. Dragon Rage up for this. Nice. Whoa. God, I love Eternity Surge sometimes. Yeah, that Pyre actually did more. Oh, that was the auto pyres that you fire off when you press Dragon Surge. Yeah, that checks out. Grab whatever, it doesn't matter. And then... it's this one that I want to head to next. All or Nothing. Now, sometimes you get really lucky. This is not the case here. You can see world quests are, like, all over the place, right? Every now and then, a world quest might directly overlap with a side quest hub. This is a lot of times the case with this one in particular. I've done a few runs where that has happened. And then you just get free experience, right? Because if you're already doing the side quest hub, and the world quest is literally exactly the same as the actual quests, then you're just getting double the experience for free. And that's super nice. If that ever happens, you definitely want to do this, but I would say you probably want to do it anyway. It's a decent side quest hub. The other thing is this side quest chain is a prereq for this stuff over here. It will segue into that. And that one has a bonus objective, as you can see in the map, and we love bonus objectives. They are super duper nice. Because, again, free XP. 90% of the time, you're already doing quests in that area, you're killing the exact same mobs, and then it's just like, hey, here, have some free experience while you're at it. Oh, love Evoker Burst. Where are my quest items? There. What am I looking for? I need web spinners. I remember there's one mob here, one of the two, that is like a little bit more annoying to find. I guess it's the web spinner. Okay, we're gonna grab this ore, and then there's one more. Yeah, right down there. Take that, and web spinner spotted. Let's grab Shattering Star. I thought that would finish it off. Do this. And we'll turn in these quests. I have a lot of unspent talent points that I need to spend ASAP. I will say, I feel like I'm making faster progress than I really expected. Do this, black spells. Yes. Trying. I obviously, like, looked at my talents before I started and have a general route planned out for, what order I'm gonna take all the stuff. But because this is my first time actually leveling an Evoker, I still need to double check and be like, yeah, right, that's where that goes. Alright. Is this a treasure? Do I get experience from this? Actually, I'm not sure. Doesn't look like I do. Alright. I tested it, so you don't have to. Stuff like that this early in the expansion, when I haven't done, like, 20-plus runs. It's hard to really remember. Because I've obviously done these quests, but I don't remember exactly when I did this quest before, did I get, something out of it. From that treasure. I think this is a really good spot for the cheetah potion. Because I'm not going to be fighting mobs, so I don't need to worry about the dazed if struck effect. And even if I do get dazed here, which I will, we're about to deep breath. Whoa, oh my god. I forgot that the entire thing about Scale Commander is that you can control your deep breath angle. I was wondering where it was taking me. That's, I could get to aim it now, which is actually really cool, I should note. Stone Gauntlets. That is... yeah, that's an upgrade. Because I don't have any enchants on my gloves, so that I can just take as a flat upgrade. Because obviously, a lot of times, the value of the enchants will outweigh any small potential item level upgrades. And one of the reasons why I get this gear isn't necessarily because it's super overpowered. It's like the same thing with heirlooms. I've seen a lot of people saying that heirlooms aren't worth getting anymore. And, well, I think that a lot of people have a point when they're arguing from, like, a cost-effectiveness point of view, because heirlooms, the price is just really fucked. The reality of heirlooms is that the value you're getting out of them is just because you get to shut your brain off and not think about gearing decisions while leveling. And that saves a lot more time than you may think. You'd be surprised, like, do a run with heirlooms, then do a run without heirlooms, and look at how much time you spend sitting there looking at your character, figuring out what gear to equip. And I know for a lot of people, they're going to be like, but that's the quintessential RPG experience. And I'm going to be real. I love Classic WoW. And I think one of the most fun things about Classic WoW, at least like vanilla, right, is that exact decision-making process. But that is what makes leveling in Classic fun. It's the, I'm going to get like a piece of gear, and then I'm going to whack a boar like 20% harder, and that's going to be awesome. And then I'm going to be wasting slightly less of my life playing this game. And I say that as somebody, again, who likes Classic. I know that I'm being a little critical of it. But that's like the fun of old RPG leveling. At this point, the reason why I enjoy leveling, and I should note that, how do I put this in a way that makes people not, like, freak out? Because every single time I say this, people are like, oh my god, he hates doing speedruns. and I need to find a way to word this that's like, you know, doesn't get people to freak out. I am like mildly burnt out on doing a lot of these speedruns. And I think anybody would be when they've been doing this for 4 years, right? For 4 years now, on and off. Obviously, I haven't been doing this every second of every day, but like, you know, once every few months, I do another speedrun. Every few months, I update my guide, and I, you know, do speedruns to test that. Some of them are recorded, some of them are not. It's a lot of work, and I do enjoy a lot of it, but it gets kind of tiring, leveling a million characters. I still have enough fun with it to where, like, you know, while this is my job, I should note, like, obviously I do make money off, you know, YouTube and stuff. That, you know, shouldn't come as a surprise. So work is work, right? But it is a job that I enjoy. If I absolutely hated it, I would just get a real job. I do have a college degree. I could do that if I wanted to, but I'm pursuing this because it's fun. It's more fun than I think I would get elsewhere. But at the same time, yeah, if I can minimize some of the frustration... Oh, are you kidding me? I hit a tree branch. That's lovely. If I can minimize some of the frustration in the leveling process of, like, not having to sit there and stare at my character sheet, like, half the run, yeah, I'm gonna do that. The things that make my brain go like, ooh, fun, when I'm doing these leveling runs is exactly what I'm describing earlier of, like, pressing Eternity Surge and everything just fucking dies. That's fun. That's what I like about this. Even if I've done a million different leveling runs, when I press Eternity Surge and I see those big yellow numbers and all the mobs around me explode, you know, that little monkey part of my brain goes, oh, big number. Even though, you know, the actual content that I'm doing isn't necessarily exciting. That's just how it goes. So that's the thing that keeps me coming back to these runs. Outside of just, you know, it being my job, I have no interest in, what's it called? The RPG progression of retail WoW. If I want that, I would play Classic. So that is, in my opinion, the greatest benefit of heirlooms. They just take out your need to even worry about that stuff. Right there. Oh, shit. At least it didn't pull the big guy. Are you kidding me? Before I forget, I'm gonna refresh that, because that buff is about to expire. What else is about to expire? Let me just do this. I'm just gonna get my food buff while I'm at it. Click that off. This run should probably only be another hour. We're kind of cruising here. And I've only done 2 delves. And delves are really good XP. It's just Isle of Dorn side quests are like fucking bonkers. You know, the funny thing is, I had like a lot more in my route plans. I might not even get to do stuff outside of Isle of Dorn at this rate, because this is just... I'm getting much further than I thought. This is the first time when I've actually done the crafting stuff in the Dream Surge zone with all those XP modifiers. That gave me like an entire additional level more than I would normally have. It's a lot. I didn't expect it to be that much of a difference, so I am a good bit ahead of my projection at the moment. Which, you know, we take those. Definitely a fun problem to have. I need to make sure I siphon it. If you don't siphon it, you don't get credit. This is one of those really annoying ones like that. Instant. Just hover so I can get the cast while moving. And I need a little bit more mob percents. So we're gonna just get that. Oh my god. The handling on that is wonky. I'm not used to having control of my deep breath like that. I'm used to it just being a fire and forget type thing. Alright, behind Dornegal. Yeah, I can do that. So now I'm actually going to Hearth to Dornegal. Because that's where all the remaining turn-ins are. I should note, I also didn't pick up the meta quest, the World Soul quest. You can do that if you want. The problem is, and this is really dumb, while you're leveling up, the World Soul quest gives you leveling gear. It's an incredibly stupid decision on Blizzard's part here. I'll waste like 5 seconds to show you this. So I picked this shit up. Look at this. It gives you leveling gear. And why is that dumb? And effectively, I am doing this to simulate what a regular player should do. I am losing out on effectively 20,000 free experience, because if I wanted to, I could pick up something. I guess Stone Vault. The ones up right now I normally probably wouldn't do, and I'm not going to do 6 world quests. But there are some that will directly align with my leveling route, so you can technically complete that quest for free, and that's a nice experience bonus. I'm intentionally missing out on that because absolutely nobody in their right mind should complete that quest while they're leveling. It's just not something you should do. Because it is incredibly stupid that you would want to take a piece of leveling gear instead of just waiting until you hit level 80 to turn it in to get the level 80 reward. Absolutely no sane person should take that trade-off. It's just a bad deal. And as a result, I'm just not going to do that quest while leveling because, you know, it's stupid that Blizzard designed it like that. If Blizzard changes it and makes it so that quest now gives endgame, like a box of gear that you can't open until level 80 that gives you endgame stuff, then I would start including that into my routing. But as it stands, you would not want to turn it in until level 80, which means you would never get the free experience from that. So I think it would be disingenuous for me to include that in a route when I would not advise people to do it. Stuff like that, I think, is important. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do Rambleshire. And I have to kill a mob, right? Or no? Just roleplay. The mob I kill is up there. Yeah, and then I just need to wait for the roleplay. This actually would have been a good spot to refresh my food buff. Oh well. Now we know. Okay. Gonna land there, do this, then there's gonna be a mob. I'm just gonna kill the mob. Should've used Shattering Star first, oopsie. Okay, there we go. Then I can do this, lie down there to turn it in. And now, Rambleshire, there is a breadcrumb that takes you to Rambleshire, but it doesn't matter. The breadcrumb quests give very little experience, and all of these zones you can just fly there directly. So I might be losing out on a tiny bit of experience by doing it this way, but in order to access the breadcrumb, I'd either need to, like, fly an extra good distance, which at that point kind of defeats the purpose. So, Rambleshire. I remember I want to start on the edges here, because there's one... It's not... No, that's a poster. Crap, I forget where the start of this one is. This one, I think. Olberig of the Three Shields. No. Might be confusing it with something else. It really wants me to go to the Three Shields. Okay. Either way, I can't remember. I must be... Yeah, I think maybe the breadcrumb quest gives more than I thought, but it doesn't matter because the two main things that you want are these and a handful of other quests. So we're going to go grab that in here. Because these are basically mini wanted quests. 3 quests that are just kill this mob. Always love to see stuff like that, because they are just very easy to complete. Alright, Dragon Rage is barely off, not off cooldown. Oh! Okay. Almost flew off a cliff there. Still, getting my bearings. Just to reiterate, I know I mentioned this, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this earlier, so I guess in case I didn't, it's important that I say that. Creekball's Rest is bugged. Holy shit, those mobs died. High level, by the way. Technically, I should be... My scaling should not be affecting me super heavily, and yet... Go... Yeah, so I'm not going to do Creed Balls because it gives less XP, but I am going to do these quests. Because they are pretty good. Meet him at the site, right. The main reason you do this is because there's a bonus objective that overlaps it. There's a lot of really good, like, questline plus bonus objective combos in Isle of Doran. Rambleshire is not one of them, but that's the one where we just killed those 3 mobs. But there are, like, a good amount of follow-up quests, and as you can see, those 3 mobs that we killed really fast. All things considered. Okay, you gotta clear all those out, because otherwise you can't interact with this stuff. The kobolds will, you know, make sure I don't get in combat there. And... okay. Fly up. And for whatever reason, those initial kobolds don't give you progress towards, the bonus objectives. You gotta kill them up here or on the next level. Fighting a little bit. Should be fine. I can heal myself. Get another heal. I love the icy tunnel on death thing. That's such a quirky little death quote from the kobolds. Okay, we take this. And then now that I've killed all the mobs I need, I don't need to fight anything else. So we're going to try to do this with minimal combat. Okay. Fly. I get this off. Nice! Not getting stuck in combat today. Trying to be very careful to not get hit by these dynamite things they're throwing, because that actually does a pretty sizable chunk of damage. We're going to spend our next talent point, which is going to be this, Unrelenting Siege. For longer fights, that will be quite nice. If I'm out of combat now. Next one I'm going to take is Slipstream, and then the Obsidian Scales one. It's not a big deal. Okay, this guy... Holy moly, Devastation Evoker damage is bonkers, dude. I genuinely did not expect this to feel as good as it does. I am kind of cruising right now. Scale Commander just fucking owns. Okay. Come on. I have to be standing still, right? Forgot. And then one more tunnel. Any second now. Alright, and then we fly. There's... yeah, oh, right. There's the mob in the cave over there that I need to kill. Alright, that. Put on Shattering Star first. Whoa, doesn't matter! Holy! Yeah. Yeah, that's fun. That's why I like leveling. And then... yeah, that stuff's all really fast. I'm gonna just fly over here. I'm always unsure whether this quest is actually worth doing. I want to say it is, but it definitely is a little bit slower than the rest of this stuff. Because now it's, you know, there's only one quest, you don't get the second. The other ones after this are fine, but not spectacular. I think it's probably okay. I think I'm kind of reaching a point now, though, where I might just say I've actually gotten enough experience and just go and do... Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do the follow-up quest, because I'm pretty sure the next one is, like, the roleplay one, where you have to help him throw shit in the forge. And I don't really think I want to do that. Finding the clumps of ore is always a pain. Okay. Let's hope that this guy gives me the quest item I need. That way I don't need to kill any more mobs. He did not. Such is the life of somebody doing fucking World of Warcraft questing. That's how it's been since 2004. Okay. Yeah, let me... Yeah, I guess, yeah, this is the one. And then you have to help him forge stuff. Yeah, we're not gonna do that quest. It might honestly be worth skipping that one. I would say, if you're behind on experience, it's probably worth doing. But we're so far ahead right now. Because keep in mind, I have so many delves left to do. I said delve XP is really good, and I've done 2 delves. And while my delve RNG today, in terms of the best setups, isn't necessarily amazing, I have a lot of really good delves that I still need to do. And it's kind of the same deal with the Darkman Fair quest items and stuff. You don't want to leave that out, because it is really effective. Okay, I might be missing a breadcrumb for the other stuff. There are... Isledorn is insane. There's actually another side quest hub right over there that's pretty good that I could do. I'm just not going to do that. I think we're actually just going to... Yeah, I'm going to head to do the delves, because I know for a fact that those are really good and worth my time. And this should work, yeah. I was pretty sure that was an account-wide teleport. So we're going to teleport down to Ringing Deeps, and we're just going to do Waterworks Dread Pit. And, like, here's the thing. Ringing Deeps, doing, like, the first quarter of the campaign in Ringing Deeps is actually really good. It's, those initial quests are not bad, and I was going to do that in my previous version of the speedrun, because I was going to skip some of Isle of Doran, because Fungal Folly, you know, wasn't up, or variant wasn't good. But... yeah, there we go. There's the quest. I'm going to talk to him. I want to make sure that I can... get in combat. Okay. Bran? I'm not in combat somehow, despite the fact that Bran is very clearly shooting at that guy. I don't know how that works. But yeah, the reason why this one's so good is you literally just zip through. The other one, you have to wait for roleplay. There's one where you have to murder a bunch of kobolds and stomp on their bodies. That one's okay. That was the one that was up yesterday. It's about as fast. The only thing is you do need to fight a bunch of additional mobs. But technically, you know, mob kill XP, it's not awful, so don't hate that. And, like, as you can see, even with this one, you're still going to have to fight a bunch of mobs, so it's not like it's a big loss. I think targeted Bran automatically. Just going to dash through here, round up all this stuff. Get a bigger lantern. And then let's just blow some of these guys up. Healing pot. You can see the delves are starting to hurt. That's just, that's the scaling in action. They hit a little bit harder than open world mobs. Initially, I know that when people were asking me, I was recommending doing delves on tier 1, because the main source of experience is the completion. Can I jump over this? You can't. That being said, I looked at the numbers again, and while I don't think it's worth doing delves on tier 3, because they do get, like, a sizable health bonus, a lot of them, you do still need to kill a bunch of mobs. The reality of tier 2 delves is the health bonus is not that significant, and it gives you a 10% XP bonus, whereas tier 3 delves only give you a 15% experience bonus. So you're going from like no experience bonus to a 10% bonus and only a slight health penalty versus a much larger, relatively speaking, health penalty and only a 5% up from 10% bonus. That change is not worth it. It's not worth doing tier 3. But tier 2, for the 10%, yeah, that's good. I don't know why, but initially I thought that, like, you only got a 5% bonus from tier 2, which, in that case, but it's double what I initially thought it was. But yeah, like you can see, this was pretty fast. And if you look at my damage breakdown, you can see Bran is like down there at the very bottom. He's doing very little actual damage contribution. Right, I get credit for this, don't I? Yeah, I don't need to actually loot the end of the delve. I'm so used to doing that, I'm just on autopilot. And honestly, I would say even for your leveling, I would not recommend looting the end of the delve, because, like, you get fuck all from it. Sometimes you might get a slight upgrade on your leveling gear. Whoa, fancy. That doesn't matter. Alright. I'm going to do this because the Dread Pit is quite far away, and I don't want to hearth all the way to Dornegal. So we're going to turn this in, since we're already here. Also, oh, very important little detail I should note. So you might be like, why am I in war mode if I'm not actually doing that many quests? I did a good amount. So obviously war mode gives you a sizable experience bonus, 10%. But here's the cool thing. Because the bulk of Delve XP is from that one-time quest, war mode buffs that quest because you actually hand it in out in the open world. So even though the entirety of the delve itself is confined within an instanced area, you are benefiting from war mode. So if you really, really, really hate being in war mode, you really just don't want to have to deal with fighting anybody, and you just don't even want to take the risk. And I will always tell you, it is worth the risk. I have not encountered anybody. You're rarely going to find people who actually want to fight you in war mode. And here's the crazy thing, right? If you find people who want to try and fight you in war mode, either run away, or if they kill you, just turn it off. That's an option. You could start with war mode on, and then if somebody just really wants to pick a fight, just go and turn war mode off. And I'm like, okay, yeah, continue requesting like normal. You lose your buffs. Oh no. And then you can just, immediately rebuff, and it's whatever. Unless you have any, like, extremely powerful one-time buffs, which, generally speaking, a lot of the most valuable things are persistent through death. Darkwind Fair obviously goes away, but if you have top hats, you should be able to very easily get more on the go. That one can be a little bit annoying, I will admit, but it's not a big enough of a deal for you to just not do war mode. But the big thing is, if you really, 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 really hate war mode, you can still do all of your delves, even if you want to do every single delve, which I should note is an option. While I do think that there are certain quest hubs that are just going to outpace standard delve leveling, especially for the slower ones, you could just do literally every delve. They're not bad. It is a better way to level, in my opinion, than dungeon spamming. Just doing every delve that you come across. Okay, I need to talk to you. I need to do this. We're gonna do that. Bam. I'm gonna try to kite this guy. Yeah, nice. That's one of the, I think, biggest advantages of Bran. A lot of times, he'll finish off low health mobs that are kind of trailing behind you, so you don't really need to worry about finishing them if they're at, like, a very tiny health threshold. Let's do that. Gem Hoarders. Yeah, the next one is all the way over there. Oh, invisible wall. Okay, that was almost spooky. I almost completely fucked my momentum and got myself killed. I want to be careful here because I want to make sure that I have CDs for the end. So I can do this. I'm going to be real there. I did not double check to make sure I had a charge of hover available. I just jumped off a cliff and prayed that hover was there. And thankfully for me, it was. Like, in the back of my mind, I did think to myself, like, I'm pretty sure I have hover. But I'm not going to pretend that I, like, actually looked at my bars. I'm just like, I believe that I have hover, and then I jumped, and then looked, and then went, phew, okay. Good. We're gonna do this. Nice. And then I get credit. Yeah, and then I'm actually just going to straight up Hearth to Gundergaz, because that's where the... Oh, no, the turn-in point is not Gundergaz. Right, I can't do that. I need to Hearth after. So I need to go into the south. So we're going to take a little bit of a detour. Anything that I can equip? 532. Yeah, that's a minor upgrade. And there's no enchants on that. But that stuff all has, like, gems and stuff, so it's better despite the item level. What was I saying before? Yeah, okay, so you can go into every single delve, and then after you've completed all the delve quests, you just go, turn on war mode, and just do a world tour. Fly all around Kazalgar, turn in every single one of your delve quests, and they will all have the war mode XP bonus. And then you're literally just getting experience for free. We're level 79. This is fucking crazy, dude. Okay, remember when I said that we weren't halfway through the run at like 30 minutes or so? I was expecting this to be like over 2 hours. I may have massively overshot my projections here. I did not realize how fast this actually was. Because, like, I've done... here's, like, I think the thing that a lot of people don't understand about these speedruns, right? There's so many times where I have done this route, but I do it, like, super casually. I'll, like, sit down in an afternoon, I'm watching something on Hulu on my second monitor, and, like, you know, one of my friends DMs me on Discord, and I go and respond to them, and then we, like, chat for 5 minutes, and then I go back to leveling, and stuff like that. And the entire process of doing those things takes me 3-ish hours. I think when I leveled my Blood Death Knight a few weeks ago, following roughly this route, I did a bit more in Hollowfall because, you know, the stuff there was pretty good at that day. And doing that, I think it took me 3 hours, 40 minutes. And that, you know, wasn't like on a timer per se. It was from the time that I started leveling to the time I stopped, which included, you know, a quick coffee break and stuff. And you kind of, you know, subconsciously, you're like, I know I could be doing this faster, but I'm more so testing the route. Like, is this an effective way to reach max level? I'm not necessarily timing myself to be like, exactly what time am I going to finish with? That type of thing. And when I got that, like, 3 hour, 40-minute time, I'm thinking, I could definitely get this under 3 hours. Like, I know that for a fact. I wasted definitely more than 40 minutes. And I'm like, could I get it under 2 hours? Maybe. That's going to be tight. I don't know. But damn. Sometimes you don't really understand just how much time you're wasting when you're just leveling casually. And that applies to me, too. Like, I do runs like this, but also some of the prep work. And a lot of it is just really the mentality. Like, I can be doing these delves, but if I'm doing them casually, I'm not going to be, like, in such a go-go-go mindset. You know, I'm going to be, as I mentioned, stopping to loot every mob, because that's just, like, second nature to me. And I'm going to be probably doing a few delves that I normally wouldn't do, just because I'm like, one of the really nice things about delve leveling, and I know a lot of people say this about dungeon leveling, I never understand that, at least because IQ is a tank, and tanks you kind of need to focus a little bit more, generally speaking. But a lot of people say they like dungeon leveling because it's really mindless. You just kind of hold W and stuff. As a tank, you can kind of do that, but you still need to direct the group. There's, like, enough thought put into it, and since that is what I normally level, I always feel when I'm leveling through dungeons that I end up still having to put in a lot of effort. But delves, man, this shit is brain on. In a good way, right? You know, I'm not the biggest fan of delves, but as a leveling method, kind of a fan, honestly. It's chill enough that I can, you know, yap about random bullshit while I do it, and I don't really feel like I'm being inefficient. Sometimes you fuck up and almost die there. That's not good. Okay. This mob is a little bit annoying. Do I have lust? I do. Okay, I'm going to Dragon Rage. I'm going to Eternity Surge this. I'm not going to kill the mob. I'm just going to stand in the beam to eat the shield. I should actually use Obsidian Scales here to soak up some of the damage. And then an Eternity Surge should finish it. Alright, I got credit. Boom, we leave the delve. To go. That's one of those things where the amount of time that I've saved leaving all these delves early, it probably amounts to something in the realm of, like, 3-4 minutes. Every little bit counts, if you account for that, like, on every single delve combined. And that's the type of thing that I just would not be thinking about if it was, you know, a casual leveling run. I wouldn't be sitting there going, I'm gonna leave the delve early to do this. No, I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna move on to the next one. Okay. So I have a few different options here as for what I want to do. I could do some side quests. So, fuck, I didn't fat finger that. I am like 99% sure that 2 delves gets me there. Fairly certain. So 2 delves would be, it's about 100k XP. How much did I get from that? That was 102k. So that would be 204k XP. And like, so it's not exact, right? Yeah, but I'm very close. 2 delve quests would get me there. Because I think when you add in the mob kill XP, I'm pretty sure whatever the difference between that is, I'm terrible at like on the fly math. That would be what, 418,000 experience? And then I'm roughly 30k ballpark away from level 80. Do I think that mob kill XP in 2 different delves amounts to 30k XP? Yes. Like, one of the bigger mobs tends to give 1000 XP per kill. So, while I did say that Spiral Weave is not amazing today, it's not bad. And because there's really no other better delve up at the moment, normally, you know, this is where I would have done Underkeep or Sinkhole, but and one of the main things about this is this has a lot of killing mobs. Now, normally killing mobs is good. I'm just gonna fire breath that. Probably shouldn't have. Normally killing mobs is good, but there are a lot of mobs in this one. There's like so much shit that you have to kill. So it kind of, sometimes if there's way too many mobs, and it's also not just this, you have to kill all these groups, and then you have to go further and do like a bit of additional objectives. Also, like if I was on a Guardian Druid, this would be fine. I could just pull the entire room and I would just live. But I'm not on a Guardian Druid, which means that if I do just pull all of these packs at the exact same time, I will die. So I need to do you, and that, line up a Fire Breath. I got hit by that sweep. I do have a health potion for when I absolutely need it, but, well, I would rather save that for when I do absolutely need it. Nice, okay. I feel like I actually did that pretty well. Not comfortable with this right now. Okay, health pot, okay. Saving that until the last second, but I think it's worth it. Eternity Surge. Dragon Rage here, and that mob's still in the back. Those webs will summon the Rubians. Don't stand in them. You can see why I don't love this one, maybe. I also need to rescue the hostages. So I kind of just blitzed through here and did all this. If that's all you had to do, this might be okay. It would be scary, but it would be fine. But you do need to stop and actually interact with the mobs. There's 7 of them, which is like, So, this is definitely not the worst delve. I would say this would be barely playable, which is, I mean, why I'm playing it. Because in this case, I think that while there are a lot of good side quests in Hollowfall, I feel like to get the most out of Hollowfall, one of its biggest advantages is that a lot of your side quests, you pick up like a shit ton of them at once and do one massive turn-in. And if I'm just doing one at a time, I won't really feel the impact of that. So I don't know if it's worth doing. This is really spooky, though. I am in dangerous territory here. I could slow down, of course, but, I mean, it's a fucking speedrun. So I have to kind of live on the edge of my survival potential. Do that. Every single time I convert an embrace, we're gonna fucking slam it. Okay, nice, and then we get the final boss. I think that this gives me... I did pick up the quest for this, right? I don't know if I did. Actually. That would be a really stupid mistake if I missed the quest. Shit, if I did that, you know. I'd have gotten carried away and just forgotten to grab it. Hold on. I think I actually did. Delver's Call. Where is Delver's Call Creepwell's Rest? Under here. I'm second guessing myself, so yeah, it's under Isle of Doran, so this should be under Ashkahet, and it looks like I didn't pick it up, so eating a little bit of a time loss here, but actually, the funny thing about dying there, which, by the way, insanely punishing that one spike there fucks me, but this means I can actually go pick up the quest, which evidently I forgot to do. Yep, yeah, see it, it's on the ground there. So, I am effectively losing 2-3 minutes by this happening. Fresh Darkman Fair buff. Deep Breath as a movement ability is always fun. But the irony of dying there is that if I hadn't done that, I would not have gotten the Spiral Weave quest, which probably would have lost me even more time. So it's a mistake to fix a mistake. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I don't really lose much else by dying. It's just Darkman Fair buff, which we can live with that. And you know what? I'm not too upset, because I was not going to get sub 30 sub 130 regardless. So this still means that I get, I mean, I guess the next breakpoint that I care about, I don't know, maybe I'm weird. I like 15-minute intervals. They just feel like nice round numbers to me. So I would say the only other breakpoint that I really give a shit about would be sub 1 hour 45 minutes. And I think I'm still in range of that, so. Now we know that's a one-shot mechanic. Can't really stand still. I used all my charges of cover to actually get here. It might have been Burrowing Tremors, actually. I think he instant cast that, and I took, like, the first tick. And that I know for a fact does truck. Maybe it was the spikes, though. Okay, we're fine. That gives me credit. Yeah, so now I can just, boom, leave Delve. Alright. A little bit of a hiccup, but considering how well the rest of the run has gone, I will take that as a mistake. That is, like, an annoying mistake, but that is not a catastrophic mistake. A catastrophic mistake, honestly, would have been forgetting to pick up the Delve quest. That would have been a bad mistake. I would have lost even more time. So, in the grand scheme of things, we're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We're good. We're chill. Ah. Okay, lands. Oh my god, that gave a lot of experience. Wait, did that... What the fuck? Is it just that Delve mob kill XP is much higher than I realized? How much mob kill XP did I get from that? Hold the phone. Am I gonna level up before I even finish Talkrathon? What the hell? Huh. Huh. That is interesting. If Delves give that much mob kill XP, that is more than I anticipated. I wonder, yeah, honestly, I might need to expand my, my net of what I consider to be, like, viable delves for speedrunning. Because at that point, you're actually not losing as much time as I thought you might be. Oh, I need to test, the shimmer scale thingy. Right. Does this work? I feel like it does. Oh yeah, look, we are cruising. I feel like that works. I think that it's working. You could also theoretically get the one... There's another BFA thing that gives you underwater breathing. I wonder if that would work here. I never... Can't believe I've never thought to try that. This entire expansion so far. Someone like... I don't know. I could test it on my own at some point. But if anybody wants to test that out on their own and see if the underwater breathing thing works in delves, please let me know in the comments. Because what's probably going to happen is I'm going to finish this. I'm going to go make a nice big mug of coffee and get to work on editing it, because obviously we had the hiccup earlier with server maintenance, so I have to do some editing on this to get the intro included. And that's... I need to do that, like, right now, because then it's going to sit there and process for a few hours. So I'm going to get that done. And then after I do all that, after I make the thumbnail and get the video actually posted, I'm probably going to completely forget about this part. And I'm going to forget to test that until, like, you know, a month from now, somebody reminds me and sends me a message on Discord and is like, hey, just curious, did you ever test that thing you mentioned at XYZ Speedrun? And then I go, oh, fuck, I forgot. So... you know, open request. If somebody watches this and wants to do me a favor, head into a delve. I think it's called Shimmer Scale Diving Helmet. I don't know for sure. I want to say that's the name. Grab one off the auction house, run into one of these delves with it, and just let me know what happens. It would honestly be much appreciated. I'm just going to do a turn search here. It's fine. Dragon Rage... fine. Mob kill XP here, honestly, might just be enough. Okay. Sure. Just gonna screw over this one pack in particular. Shit. I just realized I have Evoker Rachels. Maybe a little bit embarrassing that I completely forgot I have a knockback Evoker Racial. That would have come in handy at, like, multiple points throughout the last hour and 36 minutes. And I only just remembered now. Yeah. I don't play Evoker much. If you couldn't notice, it's not something that I'm super used to. I feel like I did pretty okay, all things considered, though. Like, this was... I have had speedruns where I just had no fucking clue what I was doing, and it was super messy. I don't feel like this is one of those speedruns. I feel like all things considered, I played decently well. So, I'm proud of my performance. Learning Star. I mean, this is going to end up being my fastest 70 to 80 run so far. Oh! Dragon Rage. Do one of these. One of these. Star. One of those. And I don't have hover. I don't have hover. Don't fumble the ball in the last second. All right, we're good. And barely off. It could just, I mean, Spiral Weave. It might just be that Spiral Weave variant, because that is about as much mob kill XP as I expect from a single delve. I think it's just that one has so many elite mobs that I killed that the entire thing is just killing mobs. It was kind of disproportionately high on the mob kill XP end of things. There are a few delves, though, that are like that. Like, one of the, in my opinion, the best variant for Dread Pit, the gem one that we did is pretty good. But the Smashing Scarden one, which would have been available if I did this yesterday, has a ton of mobs. You get decent mob kill XP from that. And time stops. Sub 1 hour, 40 minutes. This is pretty fucking far ahead of my projections, let me tell you. Holy moly! Yeah, I was gonna be happy to get, like, 2 hours, 10 minutes? I was what I was kind of aiming for, because I'm like, no shot I get sub 2 hours, right? And here's the thing, I know that sub 2 hours is theoretically possible, but a lot of the runs that I've seen that did sub 2 hours were with, the, like, normal dungeon spam with, like, a full group. So, or I saw one person get a run with, like, pre-quests and a full, like, mythic geared character from last expansion, on the beta. They got, like, a little under sub 2 hours, but I have not seen, like, effectively what I just did here done. So, I'm happy with that. I'm quite happy with that. Obviously, you know, the crafting XP stuff is crazy. That definitely played a huge role. You should do that for yourself. I mean, the whole bonus in Dragonflight, that's just easy. You know, you don't need to incorporate it into the speedrun like I did. You can literally AFK, go make food, something while you wait, and then come back while you're eating your food, just press your first crafts when the buff rolls around. Easy. You don't need to do shit. And while it is a good bit of gold, I mean, keep in mind, prices will fall. So, for instance, early in Dragonflight, I know a lot of people never really bothered with first crafts. By the end of Dragonflight, the entire first craft experience, which was like 1.5 levels, was like 5,000 gold. And that is super affordable for getting just a free 1.5 levels on every single one of your characters in like under 2 minutes. It's super duper nice. And it's even more impactful here because it's more first crafts. And I don't know, how much XP did I get from that? A lot. A lot. That's wild. And here's the fun part. The anniversary is later this month. So whenever the anniversary starts, we're going to get a 20% experience bonus. I guess it is the 20th anniversary, so that checks out. We're going to get a 20% experience bonus. So I don't know exactly when it's going to be active, because I assume it's going to be available this week. Because the patch comes out in like very late October, and then the thing starts around here, so it should be around. So this week right here, the 3rd onwards, we're going to have Darkmoon Fair and the anniversary buff for an additional 20% experience. This is going to be juicy as fuck. Oh, I am excited for that. So I will definitely do a speedrun around here. In fact, that's probably going to be like a Guardian Druid speedrun. That's going to be one of those things where, like, if you think Evoker is fast, imagine how fast you can go when your health bar literally never hits 0, no matter how many things are attacking you. And you can just press Moonfire and tag shit from a mile away. And, I mean, Guardian Druid is just kind of crazy. I love it. It's actually what I'm maining now. I've been playing Guardian Druid in speedruns for a really long time, and I haven't actually been able to main it ever, like, since my first ever speedrun I did like 4 years ago, where I guess, yeah, actually it's been about 4 years now, where I played Guardian Druid and got like a world record in Shadowlands pre-patch with that, and I did a ton of Guardian Druid speedruns over the years. Ever since that video, I've never gone to play Guardian Druid as a main character until right now. Right now in Rhubar Palace, I main tank, and in my guild, I play Guardian Druid. And it's really good, finally. There have been times when it's been okay, but now it's like actually meta. So I have a reason to play it because, you know, the raid actually wants it, and I don't feel like I'm griefing. And that's awesome. It's also really just awesome in raid. I love Moonbear, which is what I usually play for leveling, so Elun's Chosen will be the spec of choice for leveling content. But in raid, you get to play Druid of the Claw, And let me tell you, Druid of the Claw fucking owns. I love both playstyles of Guardian. They're really good for their respective thing, right? Like, try to play Druid of the Claw in leveling, you're going to hate it. Try to play Druid of the Claw in Mythic Plus dungeons, you're going to hate it. But play it on a single target raid boss where you're just getting, like, infinite Ravage procs and getting the Cat Weave to do, like, big rips on single target. Oh, chef's kiss. Fucking love that build. Just had a big sip of coffee. I mean, fuck, I was prepared to sit here for up to 3 hours. Because, like I said, 2 hours, 10 minutes, that's like my projected time, give or take. I thought I was going to barely miss 2 hours, and then I'd be like, ah, shucks, guys, I guess I'll get it next time. Because I didn't really think that on my first attempt of this, I was going to get it that fast, but, like, goddamn. And, I was obviously prepared for it to just be a complete disaster, because that's one of those, like, maybe I just didn't get Devastation or Scale Commander or whatever, and I was just hard struggling, things were just killing me over and over, and it was just one of those runs where just everything goes wrong. It has happened in the past. So I like had a full mug of coffee here, which I haven't even finished, and it's one of those things where when you can tell a run's going well, you lock in, right? Like, if I already knew, oh, this is going to be a shit show, you know, I'd kind of lean back in my chair, it's like, whatever. But the moment I saw, like, wait, I'm already level 78, and it's only just past 1 hour? What the fuck is happening? And, that you just, you know, you get, like, real, like, locked in is really the best way to describe it. And yeah, I guess I have an Evoker now. Cool. I've been meaning to try healing. I'm gonna try... Well, I'm probably going to try Resto Shaman, but I guess now that I did this Evoker run anyway, maybe I just say fuck it and also get Preservation attempted. I haven't really played Healer in a hot minute, but it's, I think it could be really interesting. Just to try it out, and, words. Where was I going with this? My brain is so fucked. I fried after that. It's like you have all the adrenaline, and then it just, the moment the run ends, just crashing down, and my thoughts are just completely scattered. Most people are probably already clicking off the video. If so, yeah, I'm just kind of rambling at this point. This is the kind of stuff I would have talked about if the run ended up being like, you know, a mediocre average run, and I just got to sit there and yap, but I ended up just being full focused. I mean, shit, right? Sub 2 hours is going to look pretty good on a title and thumbnail, so yay. But yeah, oh yeah, yeah, one of my friends plays Blood DK, and I am very curious to see what it's going to be like to heal her Blood DK ult in Keys. So I have never played healer, at least not in like many years, and I'm gonna fucking try it, and it's probably gonna be a complete disaster, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm gonna probably start working on my healers, and I have a shaman that I did some testing for this run on. It's only 73, because I tested the first, like, 15 minutes of the run, and made sure that the crafting stuff was working properly, but I haven't done the rest of it. And I was thinking I wouldn't have time to do that today, but maybe I do. At this rate, I mean, considering how well this went, I effectively have 2 more hours in my day that I didn't expect, so, maybe I just say fuck it, spend the rest of the day leveling up my Resto Shaman, and then I have that ready to go, and I can start working on it. That could be fun. That could be very fun. Anywho, I'm going to stop myself yapping. Thank you for watching the run. I hope you enjoyed it. It went a lot better than I expected, that's for goddamn sure. And, of course, I'm going to be doing a guide for 70 to 80 leveling based on this route. I'm going to probably level up like 1 or 2 characters like that shaman on my own, and do similar tests like this to, kind of feel it out, see. I'm probably going to test out a few more delves. Maybe like delves are just insane, even better than I thought, and I should just be including more of them in the run. Could have gone even faster, who knows. I think it might just be an isolated thing, like that one Spiral Weave one just gives you a boatload of experience. Hard to say. But we'll see. I'll do a few, like, I won't post the videos, but I'll just test it on my own and then record it, and if it's relevant, I'll include it in the final guide. And I don't know exactly when that guide's going to come out, but it'll be in the next few weeks. Probably, like, anywhere in this ballpark. We'll see. I have a lot of stuff that I need to do. Thankfully, one of the things that has been consuming a lot of my time over the last month or so is my guild was progressing Mythic Brood Twister Ovanax, and yay, it's dead. We killed him. And I switched to Blood DK for that fight. And like literally Sunday night, or technically Monday morning at 5 a.m., my guild leader messages me on Discord. He's like, hey, so crazy thought. Would you be willing to get a Blood DK geared for Ovanax prog? And then I leveled and geared it up to like 610 item level within 24 hours because I am fucking insane. And, you know, if you ask me to do something incredibly degenerate, I will probably try to do it just to see if I can. So I pulled that off. And then I had my Blood DK already in the raid, ready to go within like 48 hours when we got to Ovanax. And that really helped with prog, because obviously double Blood DK is nuts for that fight. My co-tank plays Blood DK. We ended up, for the kill, switching to 3 tank, 4 healers. So that made it even easier. Our Windwalker went Brew, and then we brought in, we had Prez, Resto Druid, Holy Paladin, and Disc Priest. Disc or Holy? No, actually, I think he was playing Holy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was Holy. And we killed it with that comp. We were way ahead of the damage check. We didn't even kill the final ad set by the time it died. All that to say, I know I'm kind of getting off topic here. I have spent an insane amount of time playing my Blood DK and my Guardian Druid over the last month, because Ovanax prog is obviously a massive wall right now. A lot of guilds are stuck there struggling, and I wanted to make sure I did everything I could. So I've been keeping my main tank, Guardian Druid, up to date. I've been getting my Great Vaults filled, so every single week for the past, like, month, I have gotten all +10s in all of these vault slots, and more, because the thing is, I get all these done. I get 8 +10 keys done on both my Guardian Druid and my Blood DK, and every single time, there's always, like, multiple people who, like, on Sunday or Monday are like, hey, I haven't filled my vault, can you help me? And my co-tank is playing Throne and Liberty, and he hasn't been on to help other people, so I'm the only one around to help with people's Mythic Plus dungeons. So on the first week of Narubar Palace, when the vault was open on Mythic Week, I ran 56 keys, and a good chunk of those were +10 keys. And then I ran probably close to the same amount every single week for the past 2 weeks. I have done a lot of Mythic Plus dungeons over the last month. It's been a lot of work, but now that Ovanax is finally dead, I'm not going to, like, abandon my Blood DK, but I don't need to go all out on my Blood DK, because now that character will only be used for Ovanax rekills, and my Blood DK is now 626, and my Guardian Druid is 628. And I don't really care about getting, like, full bis on my Blood DK, because, like, what do I care? I'm just using it to help kill one boss during rekills. The only character I really care about is Guardian, so I'll probably get, like, 1 Mythic +10 vault slot done on that character, just so that I have it covered, and then my Guardian's going to be the one that I do all my keys on. And that has been a massive time sink taken care of, so I finally have more time to actually get stuff done in terms of the video side of things. And I can also now start focusing on fun things, like, you know, learning how to heal, and potentially healing Mythic Plus with my friend's Blood DK. So that could be interesting. I say interesting. I think it's going to be a chaotic shit show, and I'm so fucking excited for it. And I will probably have, like, you know, videos of that posted. Also, if you enjoy Mythic Plus runs, I have been posting a lot of the Mythic Plus runs that I've done with people in my guild on my 3rd channel, which is called Haraldin Stream Archive. There's, I believe, a link to that in the description. If not, I'll make sure there is, obviously, because it would be really dumb if I said there is and there wasn't. So there'll be a link to that in the description below. I've been posting a lot of, like, obviously stream recordings, hence the name Stream Archive, and I have been regularly streaming my raids on Twitch whenever my guild does raid, which is kind of degen hours, so you may not be able to watch it because my guild streams or raids until 3 a.m., so but you can always watch the recordings on that channel, and then I post, like, Mythic Plus runs. I've been posting, like, fun clips because the people in my guild are absolutely insane in a good way, and that leads to a lot of crazy shit happening in our keys, and I like to make little clips of the funniest moments from it and post it on there. It's just fun. Mostly to share with them, right? My 3rd channel isn't even monetized, so I actually get nothing off that. But it's just kind of fun to, like, take a funny moment that happened in our key, and then I get to post it in guild Discord, and everybody laughs, and based on the reception I've gotten from people who've watched it, like just regular viewers, a lot of people seem to find it fun too. So, you know, win-win. Anyways, I can sit here and ramble for hours, as you well know, so I'm going to cut myself off here, and I hope you enjoyed watching this run. I've got some editing to do, and I will see you in the next one.